This traffic stop starts with what seems like a simple explanation. A driver admits she's lost, distracted by GPS, and trying to find her way home. But officers are noticing more than confusion. A red light violation, drifting across the center line, and now the odor of alcohol are quickly changing the direction of this encounter. She admits to having drinks at multiple locations, and that immediately raises the stakes. The big question now isn't whether she missed a turn, it's whether she's safe to be behind the wheel at all. As the field sobriety tests begin, pay close attention to her responses, balance, and ability to follow instructions. Do you think this is just a nervous driver, or are the warning signs already pointing somewhere more serious?
So the reason I pulled you over, two things. One, you went through the red light back there by the bridge.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to figure out my way back to Ford's.
Back to Ford's, okay. And
Yeah.
then you were driving all over the road over here. You crossed over the yellow line.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out the way back to Ford's.
Okay. I got you. I gotta ask because I'm getting the smell. How much did you have to drink at La Esquina?
So I drank at La Esquina 2 drinks,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went to another bar and had one drink.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm literally as I'm driving, I'm trying to figure out the GPS back to Ford's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Got it.
I don't know if you saw me swerving a little bit.
Yeah. I told you. You went over the yellow line over here.
Oh, I did?
What you're watching here is one of the most commonly used field sobriety evaluations. The officer is carefully explaining each step and giving clear instructions before the test begins. That matters because these tests aren't just about balance. They also evaluate a person's ability to listen, remember, and perform divided attention tasks at the same time. Notice that the officer even adjusts for her light sensitivity and repeatedly clarifies instructions. Those details can become important later when determining whether the test was conducted fairly. At this point, the encounter remains calm and professional, but the pressure is building. If you were in her position, do you think nerves alone could affect your performance? Or would you expect someone who is sober to complete these instructions without difficulty?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to make it back to Ford's.
Five, okay. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
ask
of
you to step
course.
out of the
Yeah, I
vehicle.
was just trying to figure out how to out home.
Okay. All right. If you mind stepping out of the vehicle, I'm gonna put you on the sidewalk over here,
Yeah.
and we're running through a few tests. You don't have to worry about the insurance for now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can check it later.
No problem.
She already admitted to 3 drinks and swerving, but now the real tests begin. How badly will her coordination show?
Okay.
So for this test, I'm gonna use my finger as a stimulus, right?
Okay.
And I'm just gonna put my finger back and forth. You're just gonna follow my finger with your eyes and your eyes only. Do not move your head. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Right here. You could follow my finger.
Your
Okay.
finger.
Is that good? Or your eyes Is it the light hurt your eyes, or is that okay?
I mean, I have light sensitivity.
Okay. I'll try to make it a little lighter
Yeah.
for you. That's good. Okay, try and keep your head still, all right?
Yeah.
And then if you could put your hands down at your sides. Perfect.
This is the moment officers are watching most closely. The walk-and-turn test is designed to reveal subtle signs of impairment, and every missed instruction, balance issue, or incorrect step can become part of the overall assessment. What's interesting here is that she appears to be genuinely trying to comply, yet she's struggling to maintain consistency throughout the exercise. That's often what makes these encounters so difficult to judge from the outside. Is this alcohol impairment, stress from being stopped, fatigue, or a combination of factors? The officer isn't relying on one clue alone. He's combining driving behavior, admissions of drinking, and test performance before making a decision. Based on what you've seen so far, would you have reached the same conclusion?
If you could just keep your eyes focused on the finger, okay?
Yeah, I'm.
Gotcha.
I
I know
am.
if you're having trouble with it, it's okay.
No,
Do your best.
I'm pretty sure.
Left foot down, right foot in front of your left, hands down to your sides. So for the walk and turn test, you're going to take 9 heel-to-toe steps, parallel to this line, this straight line. Turn around and take 9 heel-to-toe steps back. You understand? I'm now going to demonstrate the test for you. So I begin in this right position just like you. I'm going to demonstrate 3 steps. You will be doing 9. I keep my hands down at my sides for the duration of the test. And I walk like so. 1, 2, 3. I touch my heel to my toe with every step. I'm looking down at my feet as I make my heel to toe steps. And I count my heel to toe steps out loud as I did 1, 2, and 3. Once you get to your 9th step, off your lead foot, you're going to take several small steps to turn around and immediately return with 9 heel to toe steps back, like so. 1, 2, 3. Again, you'll be counting each heel to toe step out loud, looking down to your toes, and just making sure you touch your heel to your toe with every step.
The stop ultimately ends with an arrest for suspected impaired driving, based on several factors working together: the traffic violations, the officer's observations, the driver's admission to drinking, and the results of the field sobriety tests. Whether viewers agree with every aspect of the investigation or not, this footage highlights how quickly a routine drive home can turn into a life-changing event. Incidents like this also remind us why officers document every step of the process, and why impaired driving enforcement remains a major public safety priority. The consequences extend far beyond a single traffic stop, potentially affecting everyone on the road. What stands out most to you about the officer's decision-making in this case?
Okay. You have any questions? Okay. Once you begin the test, don't stop until you've completed the test. Do you understand? Okay. You may begin when you're ready.
2, 3, and then turn around.
So you can go back in the starting position. Well, I'll try and explain this to you again.
All right, so 9 and then turn.
And then 9 back. Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2.
Okay.
She's trying so hard, but those steps are far from straight. You can see the alcohol affecting her balance.
And remember, count by 1000s. 1001, 1002.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004,
Go.
2005, 2006, 7, 8, 9.
I know you guys are on that stop, but I just been notified on from a 911 call at 321 hours earlier from Charlie. Following a male and female arguing over parking. Not sure if there's anyone that can break it up.
Okay. You're all done. All right, ma'am. So listen. Based on the way you performed the test, the way that the officer saw you driving, and you admitted that you were drinking, I believe that you're under the influence of alcohol and you're not safe to drive a vehicle, okay? So Officer Wilson here is going to place you under arrest, okay? So if you can put your hands behind your back, please. Okay. So from here, Your vehicle is going to need to be towed, okay, to be held for 12 hours.
Why do so many people think they can still drive after just a few drinks? What would you have done here? Drop a comment. Subscribe for more real body cam breakdowns.